Hello everyone. My name is Daisy, and I am 38 years old and work as a kitchen appliance salesperson. Welcome to spend another ordinary day with me. Today I'm driving about 40 minutes into the countryside for the 60th birthday of an old classmate's mother. The road winds between green hills, and on a clear day like this, even the drive helps me slow down. Before going to the banquet, I stopped at one of the mountain springs where local families come to collect water. The village made 2 simple wells here, so the flowing spring water would be easier for everyone to reach. I filled the containers one by one, listening to the water and enjoying the cool shade around me. Many people nearby have collected their drinking water this way for years. It is a small part of country life, but it always feels like a quiet gift from the mountains. With the water packed in the car, I continued into town and soon arrived at the hotel. The red decorations at the entrance made it clear that a happy family celebration was already underway. Inside, the dining hall was full of relatives, neighbors, and old friends finding their seats and greeting one another. I had not seen some of these familiar faces for a while, so the first few minutes passed in easy conversation. A 60th birthday marks a full cycle of life. So many families treat it as an especially meaningful occasion. For me, the meaning is less about ceremony and more about everyone making time to be together. Behind the dining room, the kitchen had already been busy for hours preparing food for all the guests. There were rows of bowls, large trays of ingredients, and cooks moving steadily between the tables and the woks. Nothing was arranged just for appearance, because every dish was made to be shared generously around the table. Watching the cooks work reminded me how much effort sits quietly behind a lively banquet. Back in the hall, the birthday celebration was beginning, and everyone turned their attention to the guest of honor. She wore a bright sash and birthday crown, while family and friends gathered around her for photos. She looked a little shy with so many people watching, but her smile never disappeared. The room was noisy and cheerful, with children weaving between the tables and adults calling out to old friends. A tall birthday display stood beside us, covered in red and gold decorations for good wishes. One person after another came forward to offer a greeting, take a picture, or share a few words. Soon the formal part gave way to something much more playful. Funny wigs and simple costumes appeared, and the children were the first to enjoy them. The adults joined in too, and before long, almost everyone nearby was laughing. There was no need for a polished performance, because the fun came from seeing familiar people relax together. Someone picked up a microphone, others began to sing, and the whole room became part of the celebration. Even the quieter guests smiled and clapped along from their seats. I always enjoy moments like this because nobody seems worried about looking perfect. People simply take part in their own way, and that makes the happiness feel honest. As more people stood up to sing and dance, the whole felt less like a hotel and more like one large family room. The birthday woman watched it all with a warm smile, while friends continued to gather around her. Some celebrations are remembered for beautiful decorations, but I think this one will be remembered for the laughter. The dancing continued, and every new song brought another little group into the middle of the room. For a while, nobody was in a hurry to sit down or move on to the next thing. Then it was time to share the birthday cake with everyone. Small pieces were passed from hand to hand until they reached tables across the hall. The children watched closely, hoping their turn would come a little faster. Even a small bite felt special, because it carried the same good wishes around the whole room. While everyone enjoyed the cake, the kitchen was preparing the main banquet. Outside the kitchen, long tables filled quickly with bowls waiting to be carried inside. The cooks worked with large woks and pots, making enough food for every table at the same time. Hot soup was ladled into bowls while finished dishes were checked and arranged nearby. The portions were generous, and the food had the familiar look of home cooking made on a much bigger scale. Plate after plate left the kitchen, and the empty tables in the hall began to fill with color. When the food arrived, everyone naturally moved closer and made room for the dishes in the center. There was no delicate presentation, just plenty of warm food meant for everyone to reach and share. This is the kind of meal where conversation continues between bites, and someone is always passing a dish across the table. I like the comfortable disorder of a full table, because it means nobody needs to be formal. We tasted one dish after another, while the sounds of other tables blended into the background. People raised their cups to the birthday woman and to the family members who had brought everyone together. The meal was simple, filling, and full of the familiar flavors people here grew up eating. As I sat among old friends, I realized how easy it is for busy years to pass without us noticing. Days like this give us a reason to return, sit at the same table, and learn what has changed in one another's lives. City life may be convenient, but it cannot replace the feeling of being welcomed by people who remember where you came from. When the banquet ended, the hall slowly emptied, and we said our goodbyes outside. Nothing about today was complicated, but the clear road, cool spring water, and warm gathering left me feeling quietly content.